Hey guys, DM Scotty here, and welcome to the craft. Today I'm going to do something a little different. You know, most of my crafts are about medieval type settings. This one I'm actually doing a Zombiepocalypse game. I've stumbled on some rules called Fear and Faith, which are some great skirmish rules, and I wanted to do some scenarios with survivors and gangers and that kind of thing, and zombies. So I was looking to expand some of my terrain into more modern territory, and I wanted some cars to junk up the battlefield as far as like you know, cover and terrain and that kind of thing. And I wasn't having too much luck finding stuff I liked, but I did find these cars called Big Time. Let me show you here, and it shows on the back here a bunch of different vehicles they have. Now these vehicles are 1/32 scale, so they're a little big for the 28 millimeter, 28-30 millimeter, but I find that they're pretty close, and they're really not too distracting from the scale itself. So I wanted to go to the table and show you this car that I'm mutilating to make it look like a car that wrecked and that is going to be good for cover in the skirmish game. So let's go to the table and we'll talk about it. Oh, and one last thing. I also wanted to mention that they're fairly cheap. These are die-cast cars, and the cars, I think it was less than $6, the cars that I got. I got about 6 of them, and they were less than $6 each. So that's a pretty good value for this type of thing. So I just wanted to mention that before we went to the table. Hey guys, I wanted to show you this. I'm working on a zombie skirmish table, and I wanted to have some vehicles strewn around. And I found these Big Time custom cars at Walmart, and they're 1/32 scale. So they're a little big, but they're not bad. They're pretty close to the right scale for the 28 millimeter miniatures. So this used to be a bug, but as you can see, I messed it up pretty good. I hit it with a hammer repeatedly and smashed in the hood. That also knocked the door off, broke some of the bottom plastic, and mutilated the wheels. So then I took a drill from a Dremel tool and drilled into the windshield, so the poor driver went flying. So now what I want to do is I want to kind of add a little more damage to this. What I can do is I can use my hot glue gun, the small glue gun, and you can kind of simulate that by squirting on there and then kind of pulling. So this will look like a bit more like mangled metal. Once we get it painted up, of course. Alright, so that's good. I need to assemble this tube back together since I smashed the crap out of it. So I'm going to put the wheelbase and this piece of plastic part back. And then I need to put this through. Okay, so I'll glue that on so it'll also the wheel, it's partially coming off. So I want that to stay kaput, or put. And then I'll put this last wheel on. I want to have it kind of bent like that. Get my little wispies off there. Alright, so that should be pretty good. It's pretty secure there. So we got a pretty horribly mangled car here. And that'll make some great zombie scenery in our zombie skirmish. And come back and I'm going to paint it up and come back and show you what it turns out to look like. Wanted to show you this too, the windshield. I did a little really close detail. I did a little bit of the hot glue gun on there, and it really looks like it's a shattered windshield from the drilled holes. So that's another technique you can do. So hey guys, here's the finished car, and I've got some survivors next to it. And the scale is a little big, but it's really not too big. Let me show you some detail on that. So we've got the hood there, and that's the hot glue. I painted it with some gunmetal and then some black to kind of accentuate the damage. You can also see I have some blood coming down the windshield, which I thought was a nice touch. And so yeah, I think that really came out nice. I didn't mention too that when I smashed this up before I put it together, I hit it with a little black spray paint too to give it some age and damage. So there we go. That's our cheap car we can use for cover in our zombie games. And I'll see you next time on The Craft. Hey crafters, I hope you've enjoyed this episode of the DM's Craft. Make sure to subscribe. And I have tons of other videos, as you can see. I am the originator of the 2.5D method of crafting tiles. I also do dirt cheap terrain for the table. If all this intrigues you, make sure you check out all the videos below. Also, join my forum. We have lots of great crafters on there who give advice. I have a link above and below. And last but not least, remember, go forth and craft!